Hello and welcome. This video that I'm making right now, it definitely is coming to you guys from a heavy heart. A lot of frustration, some really deep internal just hurt and disappointment at the system and just human beings in general and their judgment in the moment of how to treat one another and interact with each other. So if you're here, you saw the title. We're going to get into it. We are going to honor and look at the life of Tyre Nichols. And I'm going to show you guys some visuals and we're going to get into a little bit of discussion here and we are going to talk about this. Okay. And also, we are going to talk about Shanquella Robinson a little bit here. We are going to keep her relevant as this is an issue of people of melanated skin not getting the justice they deserve, and people of not melanated skin getting a lot more attention in some of these red rum cases. Okay, right? So it's pissing me off. I'm just gonna say I'm really unhappy at this moment, and really, just like I said, I'm pretty kind of disgusted, I guess, in like human beings and the way that they treat each other. So let's honor Tyre Nichols. Let's take a look at him, and we're gonna watch some really heartbreaking footage of his mother, beautiful, eloquent woman, talking about her son and who he was and the beautiful person that he was, the earth angel that she truly believes that he was. Bless them all. Okay. So let's see, because she does say something during the video that it really validates something I've been saying about these people these beautiful souls who seem to be getting ripped away from us so quickly, out of nowhere, so suddenly, so unexpected, right? So senseless also. It's just senseless. What was done to Tyre Nichols was senseless. What was done to Shanquella Robinson was senseless. What was done to George Floyd, senseless. It never needed to go that far. And I think that it's pretty clear that there are a lot of narcissists and sociopathic individuals in this world. And I don't know if this is a call for reforming the police completely, or if this is really a case of that there are good cops and there are bad cops. There are people who, there's good and bad, dark and light. It's the duality, the dichotomy of life on earth, right? So, I mean, I don't know if this is just a matter of being able to weed out the ones who are, capable of committing these type of crimes against humanity, because that's what this feels like it is. It's an attack on humanity. I mean, trigger warning, you guys. His family took this photo of him in the hospital in his last moments. Does that look like somebody who, it's one thing to just need to kind of use enough force to arrest somebody, get the handcuffs on them, get them in the car, get them to jail. But it's a whole nother thing to just, I mean, if you've seen this video, which, like I said, trigger warning, I'm not going to put the video on because I don't want to relive that. I don't want to watch it again. 333. It's painful to watch that video. To hear this grown man crying out for his mother while the police are savagely attacking him is heart-wrenching and gut-wrenching. I don't care who you are. Even though I was on someone else's page on their channel and they were being really cold about it and already kind of like trying to put a spin on it. But I mean, I agree that the media is they're going to take events like this and they're going to have a heyday. And whoever are the powers that be are sometimes going to, yes, they are going to use unfortunate events like this in order to push some kind of agenda or push some kind of narrative, but whatever. Okay. I think it's good that at least the Memphis Police Department they fired all 6. I can't remember exactly how many. I think it's 6. All 6 members of the Scorpion unit that were responsible for these guys, that were responsible for his passing. A bunch of hired thugs, really. These guys were all big guys, Tyre was what? 6'3" or something like that, $150, like a really thin man. Apparently had possibly Crohn's disease. He wasn't a fighter. His mom says he was a lovely person. And even in the video, it's gut-wrenching from moment one. You just know it's going to go somewhere really bad because he's already like being like, whoa, you guys, whoa, you're using excessive force. Like, this is too much. It's too much. I'm not even doing anything. Okay, I'm listening. I'm going with you. But of course, you get scared eventually when they're coming down on you like so hard like that. It's scary because that they have, the law has, these officers have a lot of power in that moment, especially when you're outnumbered like that. So that's really scary. It's scary to think that these law officers have so much power. They think that they can just, it's too much, you guys. What do we need to, we need to teach more psychology, more, I don't even know what, but it just breaks my heart. Once again, it seems like every month there's like some horrific, brutal event that's just, it's like, I don't know what's going on. It feels like we're living in an inverted reality. But either way, these people need their stories told. I don't want these beautiful melanated people not getting their stories out there. Like, they deserve justice just as much as anyone else. If not more at this point, not more, but obviously, I've really, I'm not about extremism, but there's a pattern here. There's a pattern, and this is an issue of police brutality. And it is directed. Unfortunately, it does seem that it's more directed at people of color. I will say that. I mean, it doesn't seem to matter what color the officers are, because this was a black on black crime. But this is police brutality. This is an issue of tyranny, to be honest. This is an issue of tyranny. And I think that this is a really crucial time where we all need to stand together. And those of us that are holding the light, we need to link arms, and we have to globally stand together as a unit. And we need to unify against this form of tyranny that is affecting us all. But mostly these beautiful Black individuals. The Black community is, I feel like it must be so frustrating to know that it's almost like they feel like sitting ducks. Like, at any point in time, you could just be the victim of some awful hate crime. Like, I know I'm privileged in certain ways. I know I would never need to really probably worry about this happening. I've had incidents with the cops being aggressive, but not to this degree. The way they handled him was outrageous. At any point in time, they could have just put him in the dang cop car, Ugh. All right, we're gonna take a look at this video, and we're gonna watch some of what his mom has to say. It's kind of a long video, so I don't know if we're gonna watch this entire thing. I have some other stuff I want to show you guys as well, but we need to hear a little bit from his own mother and his own family. Like, this is the kind of person he was, and they're devastated. And to all of the officers that were involved in this, your decision that day has gravely impacted the family of Tyre Nichols, your own families, your own lives. All of this was avoidable. And that hurts, because you took somebody's whole life away from them, and you removed them from their loved ones. All for what? For nothing. So you could get fired from your job, so that you could get locked away, so you could get charged with this heinous crime.
So I am joined now by Ravon and Rodney Wells, the parents of Mr. Nichols here, and of Tyre Nichols, and also Benjamin Crump, the family attorney. I thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate you. I don't know how you're holding up and able to do this under these circumstances, but we're certainly grateful that you're here.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm doing as well as can be expected. It's very difficult right now. I'm still trying to understand all of this and trying to wrap my head around all of this. It's still like a nightmare right now. So
Just be honest. Listen, just conducting this interview, I'm a mama's boy. I was also a skater, as someone who knows a skateboarder growing up. And so I just can't imagine my mother dealing with this. When you walked in, you said, Don, I'm not very good at this. And I said, I got you. What do you mean you're not who would be good at this?
Exactly.
Who would be good at this?
I don't know, because this is very difficult. This is very difficult.
Yeah.
Yes.
How you doing, Dad?
I'm hanging in there. I have to be strong for the family. So we have other siblings that we have to be strong for also.
Did you hear the chief?
Yes,
What did you think?
I respected what she said. She's doing an excellent job, I feel. She's moving things along, and I like what she's doing.
She said that there is been nothing, that no evidence that they have found so far to substantiate why the officers stopped Tyre Nichols. No evidence so far. What did you make of that?
Don, I think it's telling because there's so much videotape America's about to see, over an hour long video from a poll camera that catches a lot of the tragedy, all this body cam footage. If Tyre was driving reckless, we should see it. We're not saying that they're lying, but we should see it. And the fact that they can't show it to us further underscores why this was so unnecessary. So unnecessary. I have to say this. Because, like Ms. Wells said, how swiftly they moved in Memphis and how swiftly the district attorney brought charges against these 5 black police officers. This is now the blueprint for America. When you see officers committing crimes on video, then you can't tell us that you got to go 6 months, you got to go a year. No, when it was these black officers, we saw it move swiftly. And so think about all the ones we covered, Don. I mean, the Tamir Rices, the Michael Browns, all these cases took so long for Lando Castillo for them to charge. But here in Memphis, we now have the blueprint that it can be done swiftly and
Sorry, the volume was down a little bit. I hope you
Shaking
guys
your
can
head
hear
when
that.
you're saying yes.
Yes. Because just the way they move so fast, I don't understand why they couldn't do that in other cases, but just to know that they moved as fast as they did lets us know that it can be done.
You wanted first-degree murder charges.
Yes.
You didn't get that.
No. The charges that were filed against those officers are good charges. Those are the charges that I feel will stick. And so I'm happy with the charges that the district attorney has set forth.
20 days since this happened.
Yes.
Without your baby.
Yes. Yes. This is hard. No, I don't have my baby.
My heart just bleeds for her.
I'll never have my baby again.
Ugh.
But I do know that he was a good person and that all the good in Tyre will come out. And so that's what keeps me going, because I just feel like my son was sent here on assignment from God, and his assignment was over. It's over. And he was sent back home. And God is not going to let any of his children's names go in vain.
Amen. Holy Spirit. I'm going to get emotional up in this video because I'm telling you right now, I have been saying all along. Thank you. She articulated that so beautifully. I'm telling you, we all are on a divine mission. We only have so much time here on this earth. It's our time. But how will we be remembered when we pass from this earth is what matters. And that is what is important. How will we be remembered? This is how he's being remembered. He was a beautiful soul that apparently had a massive impact to gift to humanity. We can't let his life go in vain. We cannot let Shanquella's life go in vain. We cannot let any of these beautiful earth angels who have passed on and transitioned, I won't call it deleted. We have to honor them. We have to seek to do better. We have to seek for change. We have to seek to unify even deeper. We have to call for action on a divine mission. These are earth angels. Okay? Their lives were meant to affect us all, to instigate and to catalyze a greater collective change on this earth. This is all part of the shift that we're experiencing right now. This is a great shift of consciousness, the apocalypse, the unveiling, and it's because of beautiful earth angels and souls like this that we're experiencing this greater collective unification. So amen to everything she just said. That was so beautifully put, and I just had to comment on that. I had to kind of elaborate on that because it's just something I've been talking about. And she said that just so beautifully.
So when this is all over, it's going to be some good and some positive, because my son was a good and positive person. Mhm. And that's what keeps me going.
Have you gotten any sleep?
Not really, but it's what it is.
Mom, when did you first learn about this? How did you hear?
The Memphis Police Department banged on our door approximately around between 8:30 and 9 o'clock, asking if I knew Tyre Nichols. And we said, yes. What's going on? He's been arrested. Arrested for what? DUI. DUI? My son don't drink like that. What do you mean DUI? Well, we had to pepper spray him and tase him, so he's being attended to by the paramedics, and we'll send him to the hospital, and then after that, he'll go to booking.
That was a damn lie.
What?
They did a lot more than that.
They then asked me, was he on any type of drugs or anything of that nature? Because they were saying that it was so difficult to put the handcuffs on him, and he had this amount of energy, superhuman energy.
Okay.
And what they were describing was not my son, so I was very confused. I asked if I can go to the hospital. They told me no. They left. My husband and I, we got in our car and we went to go see if we could find Ty, because he wasn't answering his phone or anything. When I asked them where my son was, they said nearby. Nearby? What is nearby? I got nothing from them. I think now that I'm actually putting things together, I believe they were trying to cover it up when they first came to my door. Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what it sounds like. You telling me I can't go and see my own son in the hospital? What kind of effery is that? Excuse me. Yeah, that's all sus from the beginning. Plus, you left a few parts out, didn't you? Like, he wasn't only tased, and it was so much more savage than that. Good example of how the police departments have been pretty notorious for trying to cover things up like this in the past, you know? They do try to cover their tracks because obviously they don't want to be looked at in a negative light. Well, too bad. You need to be looked at in the light that you've stepped into. So, justice for Tyre.
So, around 4 o'clock in the morning,
Her mama.
the doctors called from St. Francis and said, Mrs. Wells, do you know your son's in the hospital? And I said, yes. I was advised by the police officers. He said, why aren't you here? And I said, the police officers said that I couldn't come because he was under arrest. The doctor proceeded to tell me that my son had went into cardiac arrest and that his kidneys were failing. This doesn't sound consistent to somebody being tased or pepper sprayed. When my husband and I got to the hospital and I saw my son, he was already gone.
Yeah.
They had beat him to a pulp. He had bruises all over him. His head was swollen like a watermelon. His neck was busting because of the swelling. They broke his neck. My son's nose looked like an S. They actually just beat the crap out of him. And so when I saw that, I knew my son was gone then. Even if he did live, he would have been a vegetable. So
God, it's sad to listen to her say this.
once I got to the hospital, all the police officers were basically whisked out because I heard that the TBI had taken over the investigation. And that was it. They spoke to us, asked a bunch of questions, but I knew something wasn't right. I just didn't understand why they stopped my son in the first place.
You said that you thought from the initial time when they contacted you that they were trying to cover up. Why did you think that?
Well, I didn't think that initially. As I started getting information, and information was coming to me, because they made it seem like the stop and the start and the stop of the was at a certain location, when actually they were less than 80 feet from my home.
80
You
feet.
talked about what you saw. Now, I hate to bring this up, but I just have to be honest. You know Emmett Till.
Yes,
It's reminiscent of that.
I haven't seen the video.
I'm talking about what you saw when you went to the hospital.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. That was terrible.
Dad, would you agree with that?
Oh, most definitely. Because I'm the one who took the picture that's being circulated. And I took the picture because he was in such horrific condition. He shouldn't have been in that condition from pepper spray and tasing.
He was never conscious. Nothing.
No.
You said you believe if he lived, he would have been a vegetable.
Yes.
The last words on that video that America's going to hear, and Miss Wells, he calls out for you 3 times. Gut-wrenching screams for his
See,
mom.
'cause
Go ahead, Mom.
that was my baby. He was a mama's boy. That boy loved me to death. He has my name tattooed on his arm. People don't know what those 5 police officers did to our family. And they really don't know what they did to their own families. They have put their own families in harm's way. They have brought shame to their own families. They brought shame to the Black community. I just feel sorry for them. I really do. I really feel sorry for them.
Why do you say that?
Because they didn't have to do this. And like I said, they brought a lot of shame to their own family. Once you see this video, and I know I didn't see it, but from what I hear, it's horrific.
It is horrific.
And the humanity of it all.
No, there's
Where was
none.
the humanity?
No humanity.
They beat my son like a piñata.
Not a shred.
My son,
Oh, I get the chills.
he had Crohn's disease. He
Wasn't
had
a fighter.
surgery in 2013.
Those cops are bullies. Beyond.
My son weighed $150. He was 6'3", and he weighed $150.
Then.
And those men, if you combine their weights, it was over 1,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Beating a 150-pound person to death.
Even just listening to it.
Because that's what they did. They beat my son to death.
Ugh.
He cried out for his mom.
Yes. Yes, he cried out for me. Because I'm his mother.
Mm.
And that's what he was trying to get home to safety. And it was funny. I was in the room earlier and my stomach started hurting so bad. And I went into the den. I told my husband, my stomach is hurting so bad. And once I found out what happened, it was just the fact that I was feeling my son's pain. I was feeling my son's pain when they were beating him to death.
You said that you felt sorry for them. Where does that come from, Mom?
I don't hate anybody. That's not in my nature. I just feel sorry for them because they did something horrendous. And I don't know.
You said they brought shame on themselves, their family, and they brought shame on the Black community. Can you speak to these? Are all Black officers?
Ugh.
No. People try to say Black people, we only try to go after white officers. That's not true. We don't care what color the officer is. We want bad officers taken off the force. We know there's a lot of great officers. I know officers. But there are bad officers too. And those are the ones that we need to get rid of. Because all these kids that are dying and being killed at the hands of police officers, their parents pay taxes. They're paying their salaries. And then they have to be murdered by a person who's they're paying their salaries. That's not right.
No.
Why is it that Black and brown kids always get beat up when they are encountered with the police? We just had an incident in Memphis right after my son.
Yeah, and it's like hashtag justice for Tyre, please hashtag justice for Shanquella below. Like what she's talking about is real. And I've been saying it for a while, it's the powers that be against the people. And we all have to come together in order to like bring a change, because I can't watch any more of these mothers. It's devastating watching her. It's even worse than watching the video. Just seeing her pain. It's so palpable. You feel it. If you have any shred of empathy in your body, how could you even watch this and not feel for this mother and not understand that this was a senseless. This was a senseless act that never did need to happen.
With the white guy who spit on police officer. They didn't beat him to death. Why? And I'm not saying they're supposed to, but why? They ran. They didn't get beat up. I don't care what color police officer, but by them being Black, it hurt the Black community.
You think there's a bias built into the system regardless of what
Yes.
color the officer is?
Yes.
What would you say to these officers, Mom?
I would say to these officers that you have to show some compassion to people. We all know that a lot of these police officers intimidate Black people in order for them to do something. They're waiting for them to do something.
Yeah.
And they need to learn that.
It's true what she's saying. I've even experienced that with the law in my own way. And I've heard many stories from other people saying the same thing. They act as hired thugs sometimes, and they instigate you to react a certain way so that they can use excessive force on you. And so that they can get you to, they can get you on a worse crime, and they can have an excuse to take out their aggression on you.
Everyone
Direct abuse of power
is human, and everyone should be treated with respect.
Some of these police officers are narcissists and sociopaths.
She didn't see the video.
There should be a
You saw
test
the
to be
video.
able to test someone if
What
they
were you
are
gonna
before
say,
they
Rodney?
take a police officer job. Should have to take the narc test. There should be some type of diagnostic
From the initial
screening.
encounter,
You can't even look that way when he talks about the video.
no, I didn't want her to. I didn't want her to see the video
Mm-mm.
or hear the video.
It's horrible.
It was our attorney's request that she could stay in there as long as she could. She heard one word and had to leave out the room. And that was when they initially was pulling him out the car. He said, "What did I do?"
I knew that's what he said.
He said, "What did I do? Why are y'all doing this to me? What did I do?" And they proceeded to snatch him out of the car and was trying to wrestle him to the ground. And he got scared. So he was athletic enough to get out of their situation and run. And he was trying to run home because he was 3 blocks from the house when they stopped him.
He was terrified. He knew. You could tell.
So after the initial encounter, we didn't see everything because actually when the body cam started, they were already engaged. And then there was the second body cam with the sky cam that videoed the encounter. And when I saw the police officer, you know, they have this little like stick, this metal thing that they pull out.
Yeah, pull out like an antenna.
Like an antenna,
Right.
exactly.
Retractable.
Yes, and I saw them pull that out and started beating my son with it.
Did they need that? They
I
have
saw
fists.
officers
How many
hitting
fists
on
were there?
him.
12
I
amongst them
saw
all. 12
officers
fists.
kicking him.
They didn't
One
need that.
officer kicked him like he was kicking a football a
God.
couple of times.
Tragic.
And
Freaking infuriating.
but the most
Angers me.
telling thing about the video to me was the fact that it was maybe 10 officers on the scene, and nobody tried to stop it, or even after they beat him and they propped him up against a car, no one rendered aid to him whatsoever. They walked around smoking cigarettes like it was all calm and like, you know, bragging about what happened. And
For an hour of video.
yes,
And you saw him just sitting there.
he was sitting there, and then he slumped over, and an officer walked over to him and said, "Sit back up, mother MF," you know, and while he's handcuffed. So they popped him back up, and he slumped over again, and they popped him back up again, but no one was rendering aid. I saw some.
What I don't understand about what he's saying right now, so being a medical professional for years and years now, like I've been practically almost 20 years working in healthcare, and I don't understand why police wouldn't know better the kind of damage that they can do by actually beating someone like that. And, you know, it's like when someone's injured and the medics get there, they tell you like, don't move them, right? Especially if you've been in a car accident or you've had like some really traumatic injuries to the neck or your head. You're not supposed to move because the spine is very fragile, right? It's not very strong, all of this that's holding in the spine, which is so very vital to everything working in your nervous system. So why aren't the police in some type of way, medically trained so that they would understand that when you beat somebody like this, you could very easily sever their spinal cord, like what happened with Shanquella, and which was done by a medical professional or someone that was studying to be in the medical field. So it all just kind of blows my mind that these professionals, these people that should have training in this regard, don't even know nothing about anatomy and the physical body, or that you just beat the ever-loving F out of somebody and all you're doing is, and they're slumped over, like they might be paralyzed. You know, you're not supposed to move their body. Like, if I'm yelling right now, I apologize, but it's kind of like, I don't know, what kind of training then? Is there a lack of training? There might be an issue in the training if, people don't understand your basic anatomy and physiology. They should be educated in psychology, in my opinion. They should also be a little bit educated in in medical stuff. It shouldn't be so easy to become a cop. I mean, I don't know if it is so easy or what, but there definitely needs to be some different standards put in place. There really does. Let me keep playing that. Sorry, you guys. I have someone important messaging me.
Fire department people come out there.
Gotten pretty
And
far
they
along.
just walked around. And nobody showed them any aid, and they're supposed to be trained in first aid. By the time the paramedic truck pulled up, that's when we couldn't see anything because the paramedic truck blocked the camera. So I was told that the lady who was driving the paramedic truck never got out.
Sad.
So it was just, to watch your son, as we state all the time, 150 pounds. How could he pose a threat to their lives the way they had to take his life? Unarmed.
6 of them?
Unarmed.
What's your message?
So excessive.
My message is the same as my wife said. Hopefully from this situation that we have reform, that police get better training.
Yeah,
That,
I was just saying.
I've heard from people because of this, where this particular unit Scorpion unit has beat up other people. But because they didn't die, it's not publicized. It's like it's washed under the rug.
You think more is going to come out then?
I believe that more is going to come out. It's going to be a strong reaction down limit after George Floyd, after so many of these tragedies. We pray for reform.
Can I ask you something? She said her son came here on a mission. And she doesn't hate anybody. She feels sorry for them.
Very big of her.
Doing the work that you do, is there a lesson in it? You said this is a blueprint, should be a blueprint for around the country. So what is the mission? What will accomplish the mission that she believes that her son was sent to this earth for and taken too quickly?
And the prayer that I believe Ms. Wells is articulating is that this won't have to happen to other young Black and brown children. We don't have to learn so many hashtags down limit. I don't have to keep talking to you on CNN week after every other week about yet another unarmed Black person has been killed by police in a highly controversial manner. Hopefully, this institutional police culture that says it's okay to engage in excessive force against Black and brown people
Police
will
culture.
finally be dealt with. We
Wow.
won't continue to try to say that, it's training. They can de-escalate just fine when it's white citizens. We see that all the time. But it's when it's Black and brown citizens, no matter if the police are Black, Hispanic, or white, they seem to do the most down limit. And so this is the blueprint from now.
True.
Memphis Police Department terminated them immediately. The DA brought charges within 20 days. Now, when it's not Black officers, we want to see the same type of justice.
Mm-hmm. Mom?
Yes.
What you gonna miss?
That's true.
About him the most?
What they just said about the last thing too.
Smile. And just, my son had a beautiful soul, and he touched a lot of people. And I always joke, because he'll come in the house and he'll come in and say, "Hello, parents."
Oh, so that's so
I'll
sad.
never hear that again. I'll never cook for my son again.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never get a hug from my son again.
Mm-hmm.
I won't get anything from my son again.
Mm.
Just because some officers decided they wanted to do harm to my son.
Mm.
And so this is a very difficult thing. No mother should have to go through this. No mother. And I never thought in a million years that I would be sitting on your show speaking about my deceased son that was killed by the Memphis Police Department.
God. You can't even imagine, like, what this woman is going through. My heart is just bleeding with her as she's telling this story. And I think we're just going to stop that right there. But that was honestly mostly the whole interview. And it's just heartbreaking from the first second to the last second. And like, I mean, I think we're all just feeling her pain right now. And I think it's really important that we also take like a grounded stance here, and people kind of, you know, you need to keep your heads on, y'all. I think protests are necessary. And I think that that is a major exercise in our freedom and our rights. And so we do need to do that. We need to protest. We need to gather, right? Free speech, being able to gather, being able to actually protest, but without doing that in a way that's going to be counterproductive. We can't be burning down things and getting too crazy, right? Like that's counterproductive as can be. So this family deserves justice. Tyre deserves for his life to be avenged. And also, like they're saying, you know, everyone needs to be held accountable equally. Okay, all law enforcement officers, everyone needs to be held accountable equally. Not just the brown officers, okay? White officers also need to be equally dealt with. Accountability on all ends, you know, and it's just wild to me that they would do something like this directly on body cam, and really with just right there on camera for everyone to see. It doesn't seem like, it seems so bizarre to me, like that you would literally just brutalize somebody on camera. But I guess that's the norm now. They think, some of these officers think that they're so untouchable that they can do anything even when they're being recorded. Like, how actually not intelligent are you guys? Like, it's being recorded. That's evidence. That's evidence to just further prove the event that occurred. You just, it's stupid. It's just stupid. And criminals are stupid. Honestly, it's criminal behavior and it's stupid. This is like, if you search him on Facebook, here's the Scorpion Unit, who they say they've dismantled, and it is an acronym for something, and I can't remember exactly. It has to do with street patrolling and whatnot. But, you know, because of this dumb decision to act with excessive force, just ruined all the lives involved here. And you know what? He was a handsome man. And from what we heard from his mom, he was a good person. He dealt with some health concerns, and he was really just pretty thin, and maybe not like, maybe the most strong in stature. Like, he wasn't a fighter. We don't even need to watch the video, because just watching the testimony of his mom right there is like, it's just, it's traumatizing enough. It's so freaking sad. It makes me angry. So that's why I'm making this video. We do need to talk about this. I wanted to get that. I thought that interview was like, just, I don't know that I could be that articulate if I was sitting in the same position as them. They've handled this so well, but look at him just standing over his body. Like, you know, when you just brutalize somebody like that, and you really just don't even think, that for 1 second, maybe they could really be a lot more hurt than you thought they were. So let me see, get back to a picture of him. Hold on a sec. Let's watch this one from MSNBC. I don't know how long it is.
National Action Network of eulogizing Nichols. I have the solemn honor as head of National Action Network of eulogizing Nichols next week in Memphis, and that is where we begin tonight. Joining me now is Rovon Wells, Tyre's mother, Rodney Wells, his stepfather, and representing the family, civil rights attorney and the Attorney General of Black America, Ben Crump. Attorney Crump, Mrs. Wells, Mr. Wells, we appreciate you joining us tonight at this very difficult time. Before I get to the charges filed against these officers, the city takes after a tragedy like this, no matter what kind of verdict comes out of a trial, no matter what words of encouragement you get from the public, even from the president, who I know reached out to you, none of that will bring your son back. Mr. Wells, we will start with you. Mrs. Wells will join in a moment. Mr. Wells, how are you holding up?
Not bad, sir. It's been a very, very difficult time. You know, our family's been through a lot these last 2 weeks.
As you have been through a lot and navigated through it, you have also been clear-minded, you and Mrs. Wells, that you want justice for your son, and that's all you are pleading for is justice, and at the same time saying don't tarnish your son's name with any violence. Let's focus on justice and stopping this.
Correct. Yes, sir. That has been our purpose from the beginning. Violence will not bring our son back. You know, and the people that are out there being violent, they're doing it on their own. This is not what
Now, that brings us to the body camera footage released last night, Mr. Wells. It's a release you and your wife have fought your since your treason arrest. I have to again caution my audience that the footage is graphic, showing part of the car chase that preceded your son's arrest, followed by a subsequent beating that resulted in his hospitalization.
You can't see the footage.
Tonight, all 5 officers are facing charges. In addition to 2 counts of official misconduct, 2 counts of aggravated kidnapping, 1 count of official oppression, and 1 count of aggravated assault. Brother Rodney, I understand that you were the first.
Dang, I thought they were getting
but you've since come to endorse these second
red rum charges,
degree murder charges, feeling that, in your words, they'll stick now that you.
But sometimes they do that.
Seen the officer's conduct in your own eyes. Do you still think these charges fit?
Yes, sir. What we don't want to happen is to go to trial and they get off on a technicality.
Right.
They seem to have an ironclad case, and so we want to go forward with it.
Yep.
Mrs. Wells,
That's really what I was just saying about it being really foolish for police officers nowadays to go ahead and do these types of things on camera, because it's evidence that's going to be used against you. And that's why there's body cams in the first place. How like moronic. I'm just saying, like, can the police officers that were involved in this really be? Am I allowed to say that, YouTube? Please. I'm just like commenting on the fact that this was not.
You are the mother.
Any type of intelligence.
You have spoke with such passion. I don't think anyone that has been raised by a mother couldn't feel the pain of looking at a mother. I was raised by a single mother. And when you told the story of how your son even had a tattoo of you on his arm, I know that kind of love between mother and son. Tell us about your son. Tell us what kind of person Tyre was, and what kind of person you want the world to know that you've lost.
Tyre was just a beautiful person. He was full of life. As you can see, he loved to skateboard. He loved to watch the sunsets. He was a great dad. And he was just a roundabout good person. As I mentioned before, there's no perfect person in this world, but he was close to it.
And the thing that also struck me is that you have said that you're praying for everybody involved.
Please, if you've made it this far, and I should have mentioned this sooner, but please light up the comment section with hashtag justice for Tyre Nichols, hashtag Tyre Nichols, hashtag justice for Shanquella, hashtag justice for Shanquella Robinson, hashtag maybe just her name, Shanquella Robinson. Just light up the comments, okay? Like, let's keep these videos in the algorithm, so that way, you know, these people that deserve justice can get what the justice that they deserve. We need to really keep telling these stories because it's the only way that we're also going to apply pressure to law enforcement and like literally keep their lives relevant. It can't be out of sight, out of mind. Like I actually had written things down for this video and I totally forgot about my points, but it's okay because I feel like we've mostly touched on them, you know? Like these officers did know what they knew right from wrong. They knew what they were doing. They knew they were using excessive force, but I really don't think they thought of the consequences that were actually going to be involved here.
I've talked to you on the phone,
Not fully.
and certainly, Mr. Wells, you have not shown any acrimony. You've been stronger than probably many of the families I've worked with down through the years. So I would imagine that's the kind of strength you gave your son.
Yes, it was. That gave that strength to all my children.
She's super strong.
My mom, her mom. But I have to stay strong because I do have other children. I have my mother, and we have other family members that we just have to stay strong for.
Well, there you have it. So, whoopsie daisy. No. Oh God, stop. I can't have that. Oh no, don't plug me now. So that, you know, I think that's enough. Definitely don't need to watch that video here. It's being played everywhere. Of course, the media turns it into a circus when something like this happens and they're just frothing at the mouth to kind of get the, you know, to get the story out there. For some reason, people were very also preoccupied with the footage, which is really horrific and traumatizing to watch. I wasn't excited to watch it. I even questioned whether or not I should watch it. It's very hard to watch. I did watch it because I feel it's important to look at the truth. I do think it's important to at least we owe it to these people. Yeah, it's uncomfortable for us to look at. How do you think it makes the families feel? How did it feel for the person enduring that type of suffering, that type of beating in the moment, right? We could at least take a look at it and just maybe deal with the discomfort and use our privilege for a moment to get these stories out that really need to get out, okay? I'm not going to give up. Let's just also, I want to pull up a little picture. I just want to show Shanquella really quick because we're not going to do a big segment on her right now, but I do want to acknowledge her in this because I've said that if I need to make a video a month or if I need to just continue to keep her relevant, you know, we're going to keep doing that. And we are not going to let you beautiful melanated people not get the attention that is rightly deserved. Oh yeah, what am I sharing here? Let's see. Somebody was like, that's not attractive. Don't lean into the camera like that. Sorry, my bad. I know I shouldn't do that. That's not wholesome. I can't see. What the heck am I trying to share? Oh, I was already sharing a screen. Thought I hadn't been. Share screen. Oh. Oh, I just needed to change it. Sorry, guys. One sec. Okay, share. And then we got to go like this. Oh, okay, we're there. Boom. All right, beautiful girl, Shanquella Angel, rest in peace. And, you know, I don't know, a lot of time has passed since this horrendous situation was caught on tape as well. And, like, we haven't really heard anything about this. I mean, there's been updates, but I kind of just feel like it's been, like, almost the same recycled content or just the same recycled information like over and over again. There have been like some minor developments, but we still obviously haven't heard anything major. We know that the FBI is involved, and so it could be that everything's just hush hush and like it's, you know, an MUR-DER investigation. So maybe they're just treating it like very, very quiet. I hope we see something soon in regard to this case. Like this just broke my heart, like, and it still does. I think about her every day, and I think about everyone that's being ripped out of this earth, all these beautiful earth angels, you know? So let's not let their lives go in vain, y'all. Like, we all have power as a collective. We have power individually. We need to start exercising that power, and that power comes through our voice, okay? So, Tyre Nichols, rest in peace, and we're not going to let your life go in vain. His family deserves justice. That was just tragic watching his mom talk about all that. And you can tell it's just so hard for her to even like utter the words from her mouth. And no mother should be going through that, like she said. But she's a strong woman. And I like that she was able to acknowledge that her son was on this divine mission. And she felt like, you know, she was able to find some form of acceptance and that she trusts the divine plan, you know. And I tell people that all the time. I tell my clients that all the time. We have to have trust and faith in the divine plan. And we have to know that even when certain things don't make sense, God is working through us all at all times. Spirit, creator, whatever you want to call it, that energy, that life force that makes up everything that we see and all that we are is it's omnipotent, it's omnipresent, it's everything, you know. And so spirit knows best, but it's unfortunate that these type of tragedies have to be the instigating factors that get us all to wake up and for change to actually happen. But hey, thank you for, I guess, putting your own life on the line in a way in order to, not that it was a conscious decision. No, it's divine intervention, you know. But I'm just showing this because I was looking up his zodiac sign, and I think if this is his birthday, June 5th, yep, he was a Gemini, 29 years old. It's so sad. He had a 4-year-old son. His son is never going to know him anymore, you know? And he was an aspiring photographer. He was someone who had dreams. He didn't even move to Memphis, Tennessee until 2020. So it's really sad. You know, that was like a fatal decision on his part. It was a fatal decision for him to move there to Tennessee. And maybe, I don't know, I wouldn't want to move there knowing that the police are like that and being melanated or being, you know, black or brown of any ethnic background. Like I just, it's scary. It's scary to think that people in power, they think that they have that much power. It just like, it's mind blowing, I guess. It's sickening. It's sad. So I think that that's all for now. I just really felt the need to make a video at least on this, you know, and I'll probably do another one, but I don't feel like it's time yet. You know, we'll do, maybe try to get in touch with his spirit and see if we can, I don't know, get any downloads about what it is that he wants to say, or if he has any messages or anything for his family. So we'll do that at a later time, but I just want to honor and respect a little bit of space right now. And I think for the moment and the time being, it's just really important that we do keep talking about these things and keep having discussion and keep having dialogue. So I love you guys so much. Please like the video to help get this out into the algorithms. Please share and please subscribe to become part of the tribe. If you have not already, I would love to have you. And you're all integral. Everyone has a place and a purpose. And like Tyre's mother, like she said, you know, oof, it just like gets me. It's hard to not cry. Hold on one second. I wanted to make sure. Oh yeah. Rovan, interesting name. Rovan, Tyre's mother, like she was saying, you know, we only have so much time, you know, so make it count. All right, y'all. I love you guys, and feel free to please comment and be safe out there. Spiritual battle. Till next time. See you soon.